Tonight on Denver 7 News at 6.
It's a little nerve-wracking.
Parents demand more transparency over COVID in Denver public schools.
It's important for them to communicate with us.
Weather Action Day continues. Heaviest snows will be to the south of us, but I'll let you know how much to expect in the Denver area.
Also, a long-missing Denver girl is identified as a victim of the Green River Killer.
Denver investigates a deadly crash involving a firefighter.
And we take that task quite seriously, and our integrity certainly is at stake.
A Colorado company goes after Rudy Giuliani for spreading lies about voter fraud.
Words, statements, and allegations have consequences.
And a tattoo artist reflects on a moment in our nation's history.
No, not that moment. This one.
In today's world, you find your happiness where you can.
There you go. A Weather Action Day is in effect as snow moves into the Denver metro. And good evening, and thanks for watching Denver 7. I'm Ann Trujillo.
And I'm Shannon Ogden. Glad you're with us tonight. 2 inches of snow could be on the ground by the time you get up in the morning. Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson is tracking what is to come. Mike?
Thanks, Shannon. It's not going to be a major storm, but it's more the timing and the temperature with this storm as it comes in tonight. Right now, we just have a few flurries in the metro area. Most of it's just down to the south and west of us, across Jefferson County and Douglas County, gradually working its way toward the north and east. There are no advisories in effect from Fort Collins down to the Castle Rock area. Those are all to the south of us. Winter weather advisories, Colorado Springs, Pueblo down to Trinidad, avalanche watch, the central and southwestern mountains. As this storm moves in, we'll get some of the moisture coming our way, but the main story is the cold temperatures. It's already down to 23 in Denver, heading down to the teens overnight tonight. And with that, an inch or two of snow is going to mean some slick conditions tomorrow morning. So light snow, just an inch or two for the metro area, but slick and cold for the morning drive. However, looking farther ahead, there's a 60 in the 7-day. I'll let you know when that comes our way in just a few minutes.
Nearly 1,300 Denver Public School students are in quarantine because of COVID tonight. 53 have tested positive.
But parents aren't angry that COVID is somewhat spreading in schools. They're mad that it's taking them so long to find out about it. Denver 7's Russell Haythorne has our story.
As students continue to return, parents like Kim Champion are supportive of going back in person.
I just think it's better for them to be able to be around their peers at this age. Frankly, kids are lonely.
But Champion and other parents and teachers at Merrill Middle School in Denver are also frustrated, not with the recent quarantine, but with a lack of communication about it.
The whole community wasn't necessarily told over the weekend. Teachers found out last night, but then when did the parents find out? Because sixth graders showed up today.
That teacher asked not to be identified. Parents did not receive notification about a COVID positive case at the school last Friday.
It's the first week of school for my sixth grader, and it's a little nerve-wracking.
The school sent this email to teachers and staff only. A student or staff member has been diagnosed with COVID-19. The person diagnosed is being kept home. Those in close contact are instructed to stay home for 10 days. Parents like Champion question why they didn't get the same email.
Even though most kids don't get sick, it's a possibility. It's important for them to communicate with us if there has been issues at a particular school, just to let us know.
The district responded to Denver 7, saying that's not the policy. DPS said the current case of COVID-19 at Merrill occurred prior to students returning to the building, and only teachers or individuals who had been in the building were notified. In partnership with CDPHE, we generally notify only individuals who need to quarantine. But teachers say there were about 50 students in the building last week. And again, why not just notify everyone?
I do think the general parent population should know when there's an identified case, even if it's not directly affecting their student, just so they can make their own decisions.
At Merrill, the 6th graders returned today, 7th and 8th grade, over the course of the next 2 weeks. Russell Haythorne, Denver 7.
Governor Polis called the Trump administration's vaccine plan a failure today and again called for the Biden team to accelerate distribution. Polis says Colorado has the infrastructure to use 4 times as many doses as it's currently receiving. President Biden has promised to get 100 million shots in arms within his first 100 days in office, although reports suggest he will have to build much of the federal plan from the ground up. Colorado has administered 458,000 vaccines to date, and any questions about the vaccine can now be directed to a new hotline the state just put up. And if they don't answer, give us a call. We'll see what we can do to help.
So here's the latest in Colorado. 1,100 cases of coronavirus and 66 deaths were confirmed today. 700 people are in the hospital. The positivity rate ticked back up to nearly 7% today. The World Health Organization recommends staying below 5.
The Rickenbach Cadillac on Broadway has earned the dubious distinction of being cited for COVID safety violations 2 weeks in a row. Both cases involved employees not wearing masks. Capitol Hill Liquors, Bigsby Folly Craft Winery, and CrossFit Wash Park were also cited over masks.
Colorado-based Nationwide Medical Supply has agreed to pay $70,000 to settle claims that they illegally profited from the pandemic. The state attorney general's office says the company marketed KN95 masks as N95 respirators. They also allegedly sold them for a markup. In a statement, Nationwide told us it vehemently denies the allegations and says that even if they were true, they established only that Nationwide reproduced information provided to them and did not intentionally mislead the public.
A teenager found dead in Seattle in 1984 has been identified as 14-year-old Wendy Stevens of Denver. She is believed to be the youngest victim of Gary Ridgway, better known as the Green River Killer. Stevens was identified through the DNA Doe Project. Ridgway, one of the most prolific serial killers in U.S. history, is currently serving life in prison.
Nearly 8 years to the day of her disappearance, jury selection is now underway in the Kelsey Schelling murder in Pueblo. Schelling disappeared in 2013 after driving from Denver to Pueblo, and prosecutors say she was going to see her boyfriend, Dante Lucas, who is now accused of killing her. Schelling's body has never been found.
Boulder police have arrested a former substance abuse counselor for sexual assault. Investigators think there might be more victims. Jose Jepes worked for the Warner House facility and was recently charged with stalking, indecent exposure, and unlawful sexual contact. Victims are urged to call the number there on your screen.
There's kids.
A woman who was forced to lie down on hot pavement as Aurora police handcuffed her family is now suing the city. The district attorney's office announced earlier this month that while this incident was unacceptable, officers would not face charges. Police stopped the family back in August because their license plate number matched one belonging to a stolen vehicle. That stolen vehicle was a motorcycle. The family, as you saw, was in an SUV. The city of Aurora says it has adjusted its training practices as a result of this matter.
A precious few answers this evening about a deadly crash involving a Denver fire truck. Denver7 Sloan Dickey joins us from the intersection where this happened. Sloan, police have promised to leave no stone unturned in this investigation.
Absolutely. That crash took place right behind me on Spear and Broadway, and police are taking this very seriously, starting an investigation into that crash that killed one person and left 2 people in critical condition in the hospital.
A fatal crash at one of Denver's busiest intersections. On Saturday, a Denver fire truck and a car collided, killing 1 woman and sending 2 others to the hospital.
My heartfelt condolences and sincere prayers and thoughts go out to those affected.
The name of the victim hasn't been released yet, but police say they're investigating what happened.
We want to be as transparent as we possibly can, so that way that the public has the confidence and trust that we've worked so hard to earn.
The accident took place on Spear and Broadway, both multi-lane one-way streets in downtown, when the fire truck with lights and sirens on broadsided a car passing through the intersection.
We certainly look at those corridors, and we are actively looking at solutions for those.
But one thing the intersection doesn't have is traffic cameras. Police are seeking video evidence from neighbors.
If there is businesses in the area that happen to capture surveillance or have any portion of this, even if you don't have the crash itself, we are asking you to let us know.
Investigators are still determining what happened and who's at fault, but fire officials tell us the deadly crash is devastating for everyone involved.
We just want to make sure that no matter what comes to light at the end of this tragedy, that number one, we learned from it, and number two, that we do what we can to implement measures that this doesn't happen again.
Now, investigators say anybody that was downtown near Spear and Broadway on Saturday that might have seen the incident is encouraged to call the Denver Police Department. Reporting downtown, I'm Sloan Dickey, Denver7.
Articles of impeachment of Donald Trump were delivered to the Senate today. Congresswoman Diana DeGette and Congressman Joe Neguse assisted with the handoff. Both will serve as impeachment managers when the trial begins in the Senate February 9th.
And if we've learned anything over the last month, it is that claiming without evidence that an election was stolen comes with a price. Denver-based voting software company Dominion filed its second major lawsuit today. The first was against Trump attorney Sidney Powell. The latest concerns Rudy Giuliani. Both seek $1.3 billion in damages.
He made those false statements knowing that they were false when he made them, and made them with reckless disregard of the truth. He knew from the outset, the complaint alleges, that there was no evidence that the election was rigged. And that's why even Mr. Giuliani didn't make those claims in court, but he made them on television and online, where they would do maximum damage to Dominion.
Giuliani called the lawsuit an attempt at intimidation and insisted he would consider legal action of his own.
Lauren Boebert may just have the hottest seat in Congress. Colin Wilhelm, a Glenwood Springs attorney, announced that he will seek the Democratic nomination in Colorado's 3rd District. He is unlikely to be alone.
It could be a crowded primary. We're hoping to get out early, as we're doing right now, and make some name recognition. There's some reasons to jump in now to help protect our democracy and make sure that somebody is showing the rest of the country what CD3 is really all about, and that it's not just Lauren Boebert's running around.
Congresswoman Boebert was sworn into Congress just this month. She did not return our request for comment today. Coming up, a meme is made permanent.
It made sense to me as a tattoo.
And the Buffs choose a massive stage to rekindle an old rivalry.